Well, hello friends. Welcome back to Vlogtober. Hope you've been enjoying the series so far. I know we're just kind of barely getting into the month, but anyway, for today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you a recipe. I've never made this before, but I thought we would try it out together for the first time. It's called Fluffy Pumpkin Spice Pumpkin Cookies. I got it off of Whole Food Bellies, that website. And I have mentioned before that for a while I am going to stay away from sugar. It's just kind of a thing I wanted to do because I noticed that I was eating way too much sugar, and I know sugar is not good. It's not good for a lot of things, and so I just made it a challenge for myself to 100% stay away from sugar, cane sugar, until the holidays, till Thanksgiving. So I went on and looked up sugar-free desserts or sugar-free baked goods. I looked up stevia sweetened cookies, and this is the recipe that came up. Now it does call for a little bit of coconut sugar, but I'm not opposed to coconut sugar because it does not spike your blood sugar. I will take a picture of this so you can screenshot it so I don't have to type all of this into the description box. And then it calls for powdered erythritol to put on the, sprinkle on top. I'm just going to omit that because I don't like the sugar alcohols, so I don't use them. So anyway, this calls for a whole wheat flour. I'm going to be just using plain, white flour. I'm going to double the recipe because it calls for a half a cup of pumpkin puree, and I just want to be able to use an entire can, which I know this is more than a cup, so I'm just gonna have to let's see how many servings in this. Yeah, so it's got like 1.5 cups, so I won't use this entire can. If it was for like bread or something, I'd just dump the whole can in, but for cookies you have to be a little bit more careful, I think. So I am going to double the recipe though, because I do want to use up the majority of this can. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing, it's like with most cookies, I've got the oven preheating to 350 degrees, and in this stand mixer I'm going to cream together the butter, the pumpkin puree, coconut sugar, the stevia until well combined, and then add in the egg and vanilla extract and combine. So I softened my butter in the microwave. You can do that, but you have to be very careful. And this is, of course, my dairy-free Country Crock plant-based butter. If you are new to my channel, I have a dairy sensitivity. It's not really an allergy per se. I can do a tiny bit of dairy and not go into anaphylactic shock or anything, but it just does not agree with my system very well. So for the most part, I go dairy-free as much as I possibly can. If there's a item that has the words may contain dairy, I go ahead and use it. I know people that have severe allergies to dairy can't even do that. All right, so there is my 1 cup of butter, because like I said, I'm doubling this recipe. Then we've got 1 cup of coconut sugar, 1 cup of granulated stevia, and I just use the Great Value brand, 1 cup of pumpkin puree, then you cream this together till it's well combined. I turned on my exhaust fan because it's getting kind of warm in here, so sorry if there's that noise. So then to this well-creamed mixture, you're going to add the eggs and the vanilla. We had to buy store-bought eggs this time because our chickens are really slowing down. So because of that, I don't have to crack these into a separate bowl. I'll just crack them right into here. So while we are making these cookies, let's have a little conversation. I'm going to ask a question. I will answer it, and then I want you to answer it in the comment section below, and then we can have a little conversation about fall in the comment section. So the question, I'm going to discuss two questions. The first question is, what is your favorite fall scent? Now, I think you guys could probably already know this about me. If you've already, if you've been following my channel for any amount of time, you will know. This is a 2 tablespoon measure because you need to do 1 tablespoon of vanilla. And like I said, I am doubling the recipe. And look at that, almost exactly 2 tablespoons left. So let me top it off. There we go. And then we will cream these together. But my favorite scent, and it's not just for fall, it's all times of the year, is anything that's got cinnamon spice, pumpkin spice, any of those warm, cozy fragrances that have a lot of spice to them, and sandalwood, stuff like that. Those are my all-time favorite scents, and I love them all year long. In fact, I burn those types of candles most of the time. I also like apple scented things, but I'm a little bit more finicky about that because some apple things smell really good and other apple things don't smell very good. So depending on the scent, I do enjoy apple things as well. Now let's get back to the recipe, and then we'll talk about the second question. Now, I don't do it the way they say it because I don't like to mess up an extra bowl. They say to combine all the dried ingredients together in a separate bowl and then add them to the wet. I'm just going to add the dry ingredients directly to the wet and just combine them gently. Like I said, I'm doubling this recipe. So to double the recipe, it calls for 4 cups of flour. So I'm going to put 2 cups of flour in, then some of the other dry ingredients, and then the other 2 cups. So here's the first 2 cups of flour. Then the next thing I'm going to add to this is 4 teaspoons of pumpkin pie spice. I might add a little extra, and I'm going to have to get a smaller. I'm going to have to use my 1/2 teaspoon because this jar won't accommodate a full teaspoon. So in order to do 4 of those, I'm going to have to do 8 of these 1/2 teaspoons. I made a couple of those kind of a heaping teaspoon because I love spice. We need 2 teaspoons of baking soda and 2 teaspoons of baking powder. This is baking soda. Here's the baking powder. And then it called for unsalted butter. Well, I don't have unsalted butter. And then to add salt. But since I don't have, I used salted butter, I'm only going to add like a pinch of salt to this. Like 1/4 teaspoon. So I'm going to mix this together, and then I'm going to add the other 2 cups of flour. Now it says to use clean hands to roll them into a rough tablespoon size ball, which I guess that's what that would be. And then you place them on a parchment sheet lined baking sheet. And I'm not sure how far apart to put these. They're kind of big, so I think I'm going to put them just 2, 4, so I'll do 8 on here. So the next question, fall related question I have for you is, do you prefer the cozy side of fall or the spooky Halloween aspect? Well, I think I've mentioned this before. That's too big. I am not a fan of Halloween. I definitely love the cozy part of fall. We could completely eliminate Halloween altogether, and I would be completely happy with that. As you may or may not know, I was raised, I'm a pastor's kid. I was raised in a Christian home, and I'm not saying if you celebrate Halloween, you're not a Christian. Let me just state that right away. But in our home, it was never celebrated. We didn't go trick-or-treating. We didn't decorate the house up for Halloween. We did have candy for the trick-or-treaters that came because we were the pastor's family and we lived right on a busy road. So we did do that. We didn't often get a whole lot of trick-or-treaters, that I remember. But yeah. I think the only Halloween type thing we ever did was carve pumpkins, and we'd put those out on the front step. And I know one year, I don't know where my brother found it, but he found a skull out in the woods. I think it was a horse skull or a deer skull. I can't remember. But he found it out in the woods and brought it home, and he would put candles in it and set it on the front step for Halloween time. That was the most Halloween we ever got. And I can't remember that my mom was overly impressed with that. My mom was the one that actually really did not appreciate Halloween. They didn't like it for more than one reason, because there's a lot of negative stuff that's associated with Halloween. But I think for my mom, it was more, the reason why she didn't want us to go trick-or-treating is that her kids, this is her words, all right? And granted, if my mom was still alive, she'd be in her 90s. So keep that in mind. The time frame in which she lived, she grew up in the Great Depression and all of that, in a very, very poor family. She always told us as kids that my children are not going to go around door to door begging for candy. Now, I don't know if it was a pride thing that, if she wanted her kids to have candy, then they would provide it. I really don't know. But that's what we were always told, that we weren't going to go begging for candy. And she just didn't like the holiday in any way, shape, or form, anything that was associated with it. So, being as that was how I was raised, I don't think it's begging. I don't feel that way about it. If people want to trick or treat, that's fine. I don't have a problem with it whatsoever. It's just the whole spooky, yucky skulls, it's basically all of the negative things that you associate with Halloween. That's what I think of when I think of Halloween. I don't have any fun, cozy experiences with it or memories of it or anything like that. So we don't celebrate it. Now, when my kids were really little, they would have a fall festival at our church where you could dress up in costumes if you wanted to, but they didn't allow anything spooky, scary, no witches, no goblins, none of that stuff. It was all just cutesy stuff. And my kids did dress up for Halloween, or for Fall Festival, I should say. They did costumes. I will insert some pictures of those if I can find them. And it was a really fun time. We had a great time at the church during the Fall Festival time. But I do much prefer the cozy, all of the things you see on the memes of the pumpkin spice and the warm candles and the hayride and the sweaters and the fall leaves and all of those things I just absolutely love about fall. I love that the weather's cooler but not cold. And I love the bugs are pretty much gone for the most part. And I love how beautiful the leaves are in the fall. And I just feel like fall is such a short period of time that I just want to soak up every minute of it and enjoy every minute of fall. And that's one of the reasons why I decided to do Vlogtober this year, because I just wanted to make my fall season last as long as possible. So I'm going to go ahead and get these in the oven. You bake them at 350 degrees for, let me see here, what does it say? 15 minutes, for about 15 minutes. And I don't know, I might have to go a little bit longer on mine because I think I might have made them a little bit too big. But when I get all the cookies baked, which will be a little while, I think, I'll bring you back and we will do a taste test. All right, the first batch is out of the oven. They did not spread out like I thought they would, so I could have put them closer together on the cookie sheet, but that's okay. I've got another batch in the oven currently, and then I've got one more batch of 2 cookie sheets to go in. They look delicious. I'm gonna go ahead and give one a try. Let me break this open. I'll put you on the tripod so I can use both hands. Here it is. It said they should be very cakey, which they are. Look at that. Let me give this a taste. These are delicious. They really taste like pumpkin pie. They really, really do. Now, if I was not doing low sugar or no sugar, I would definitely frost these with some cream cheese frosting. Oh, that would be so good, or even just vanilla frosting. But they're just really, really good the way they are. And I highly recommend this recipe. Now, if you're not worrying about sugar, you can substitute the stevia for granulated sugar, and it's all good. It'll work out just fine. So, all right, friends, I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to answer the questions in the comment section below. I will try to remember to type them in the description box in case you guys forgot what they were, but I'd be very interested to hear your answers. And come back tomorrow for another day of Vlogtober. And so until then, friends, I will see you tomorrow, and let me know if you think you will try this recipe, because like I said, it's very, very tasty. See you later, friends. Bye-bye.